Okay, so today we're gonna still balance equations, but it's gonna be a lot harder because you only have words, you don't have any symbols. So you're first gonna have to write down symbols, crisscross charges, get the formulas, and then balance. So if you write the wrong formula, the equation will never balance, okay? So this is when I said that, especially if you were in person, that when we were writing formulas and names, that stuff wasn't going away. We're gonna use it throughout the semester. So if you said, oh, I already knew how to do that and didn't really practice, you're probably gonna struggle with this a little bit. So we're gonna start by writing our symbols. We have iron 3 oxide. So the symbol for iron from the periodic table is Fe, okay? And the charge that it's using is given in the name, it's +3. All right, and then oxide is just an element, it's just oxygen, which comes from the periodic table. And the charge of oxygen from the periodic table is -2. So I'm going to crisscross those. So this is what I know so far. Okay, I put the blank there because we're going to balance in just a minute. All right, and then it says and. Well, that's going to be a plus sign. All right, and then hydrochloric acid. So hydro means that it's just going to be H with one other element. Acid tells me it starts with H. So I'm going to crisscross my charges up here. H's charge from the periodic table is a +1. Remember, all acids start with H. And then hydro here tells me that it's just going to be the element from the periodic table, which happens to be chlorine. Chlor sounds like chlorine. So that's going to be Cl, and the charge for Cl is -1. So then I'll crisscross those charges. We don't write ones in our formulas, so this is going to be HCl. All right, and then it says are mixed to produce. So anytime you see produce, make, yield, or form, you're going to draw your arrow. It's what you looked at in the reading yesterday. Okay, so produce, make, yield, or form all mean arrow. All right, and then it says to produce, and then we have our next thing. Iron is again Fe. The charge is right here. It's +3. And then chloride, since it ends in "ide," it's just going to be chlorine, and the charge is -1. So then I'll crisscross those charges. So this is going to be Fe, we don't write ones, Cl3. The blanks are going to be numbers in just a minute. We're going to balance. All right, our mix to produce, the arrow is produce, could be form, could be make. All right, and then iron 3 chloride, that's what this is, and, so we're going to do a plus. And then hopefully you know the symbol for water is H2O. All right? So when it says water, it's just going to be H2O. We still need a blank because we're going to balance. All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit of a shortcut way to balance. I know some of you can do this in your head. If you need to make your list, by all means, please do. But we're still going to start with metals. Remember the order M-I-N-O-H. M stands for metals. So if we have any metals, metals are going to be on the left side of the stairs. And the only element that I have that's a metal in this example is Fe. The stairs are way over here, so Fe is a metal. Okay. There are currently 2 Fe's. I'm going to use pencil because that's what I told you all to do. There are currently 2 Fe's on the left and 1 on the right. So I'm going to put a 2 here to make them balance. So that's now 2 Fe's and 2 Fe's. All right, next, ions. I don't have any ions. I have nothing in parentheses. Then I would do nonmetals that are not oxygen or hydrogen. So that would be chlorine. Nonmetals are to the right of the stairs. So chlorine, there's 1 here and 3 here, but we put a number in front. So really right now, there are 6. Remember, this coefficient multiplies through everything in the compound. So on the right, currently, there's not just 3. There's 3 times 2, which is 6. So I'm going to put a 6 there. 6 chlorines. 2 times 3 is 6 chlorines. Okay? And then I'm going to do my oxygens. So my oxygens on the left are 3. On the right, I have 1. So I'm going to multiply by 3. I'm going to put that in the blank. 3 times 1. Remember, if there's not a number written, it's a 1. All right, so there's 3 oxygens on the right, 3 on the left, okay? And then lastly will be our hydrogens. So currently with this 6 out front, now I have 6 hydrogens. Over here, 3 times 2, remember it multiplies, is 6. So everything is now balanced, and this number will be a 1. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that. 1, 6, 2, 3. Okay? So that's what it should end up being, 1, 6, 2, 3. So this is 2 FEs, 2 FEs. 3 times 1 is 3 oxygens, 3 oxygens, 6 hydrogens. 3 times 2 is 6 hydrogens, 6 chlorines. 2 times 3 is 6 chlorines on the right. Okay, let's look at another one. So on this second example, some of the ones on your assignment are going to have these states of matter, which you also read about yesterday in the reading. So solid, liquid, gas, and aqueous. Okay, so the symbols for solid is an S, liquid is an L, G is for gas, and AQ is for aqueous. And remember, aqueous just means it's been dissolved in water. Okay, so this says solid aluminum sulfate. So the way you're going to write this is you're going to write the symbols first, and then you're going to put the state of matter after it. So let me show you. So we're going to focus on aluminum sulfate. The symbol for aluminum is Al. Okay, the charge comes from the periodic table. It's going to be +3 because it doesn't have a Roman numeral. All right, sulfate. Notice it ends in 8. That means I'm going to be looking at my polyatomic chart. Sulfate is SO4 and the charge is -2. So now I'm going to crisscross 2 and 3. So this becomes Al2 parentheses SO4 3. And it told me it was a solid, so I'm going to put a little S behind it. And you put it in parentheses. Solid is an S, but it goes in parentheses. All right, and then it says and, that's our plus sign. Okay, and then aqueous nitric acid. So let's focus on nitric acid. All acids start with H, so I know it's going to be H. H's charge from the periodic table is a +1. Nitric doesn't say hydro this time. So because it doesn't say hydro, I'm going to be looking at the polyatomic chart. Ic goes with 8. So this is nitrate. Okay, ic and 8 go together. So nitrate is in this first column here. It's NO3, and the charge is -1. So then I'm going to crisscross those. We don't write ones, so this is going to be H parentheses NO3. It tells me it's aqueous, so I'm going to write AQ in parentheses. Remember, aqueous just means it's been dissolved in water. All right, and they form, that's our arrow. So produce, make, form, yield. All of those words mean arrow. All right, so I'm going to drop down to the next line because I don't have enough room, but hopefully you didn't write too big. All right, and then again, we have aqueous, but we have aluminum nitrate. So I'm going to crisscross my charges. Aluminum is Al again. The charge from the periodic table, as a reminder, was +3. All right, nitrate, we looked up earlier. It's on the polyatomic chart. Nitrate is NO3. The charge is -1. So then I crisscross. So this is a 1 and this is a 3. So I'm going to drop down to the next line. So this is Al, no 1, and then parentheses NO3 with a 3 on the outside. All right, and then it says it was aqueous again. So we're going to have AQ in parentheses. And that's our plus sign. I'm going to crisscross charges up here again. Aqueous sulfuric acid. So again, all acids start with H, +1 charge. Sulfuric, notice it doesn't say hydro again, so it's going to be a polyatomic ion. The polyatomic ion is going to be sulfate, which is SO4, and the charge is -2. So then it's going to be H2 parentheses SO4. All right, and this is also aqueous, so I'm going to write AQ after it. Okay, so now we can balance this. So we're going to start with any metals. Remember, MENO, any metals. So we have a metal, we have aluminum. Currently, I'm going to use pencil again. Currently, we have 2 aluminums on the left and only 1 on the right. So remember, our arrow's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 2 there because 2 times the 1 that there are, now there's 2. All right, next in our list is ions. Well, we have some ions this time. So we have SO4 and we also have NO3. So remember, you're going to count this as one thing. So you just look at the number on the outside. So currently, SO4 is a symbol and there are 3 of them on the left. Okay, on the right, SO4 is one symbol and there's only 1 of them on the right. So this is going to have a 3 in front because 3 times the 1, which is outside, gives me 3, just like I see right here, okay? So remember, it's just a symbol. It counts as one thing. Cover it up if you need to, and then look at the number on the outside. All right, our other ion is NO3. We have 1, this is just one thing, 1 NO3 on the left. Over here, I have 3, but there's a number out front, so really I have 6 NO3s. Okay, this is just one symbol. So I look at the number on the outside, and the coefficient I have, they multiply. So I have 6 NO3s. So the number that's going to go in front here is a 6. Okay, 6 NO3s. There's a 1 on the outside. Okay, so we've taken care of everything except we don't have any nonmetals that aren't ions. We don't have any oxygen alone. And then lastly would be hydrogen. So currently on the left, we have 6 hydrogens. And on the right, 3 times 2 is 6 hydrogens. So 6 hydrogens, 6 hydrogens, 6 NO3s. 2 times 3 is 6 NO3s on the right, 2 aluminums, 2 aluminums, and then 3 SO4s, 3 SO4s. So it's balanced. So this is going to be a 1. So the numbers that go in front are going to be a 1, a 6, a 2, and a 3. Okay? So I try to do ones that are a little bit harder because I know some of you are struggling with the balancing aspect. But this does get, not all of them are going to have states of matter, but the ones I think on the back of your assignment or the second page of your assignment will have some of the states of matter. Most of them will be like this. For the most part, you're always going to write down your charges in crisscross unless it was a covalent compound. I don't think I put any on this assignment though. So you should always be writing your charges and crisscrossing. If you write your formulas incorrectly, it will never balance. Okay, so if you completely checked out last unit, you're probably going to need some help. So you might want to go back and figure out how to do this or email me.